All right, you're good to go. Okay, so as we said last week during the meeting, I will show you some parts of the BSD Cafe architecture that is mainly the two virtual machines that are running the whole service. So all the jails which are running all the services you can reach online now. And I will show you how I'm monitoring them and how I'm performing the backups of the data, because at the moment we're starting to have, especially for the brew service, so the Git, we're starting to have some interesting repositories, and I think that people rely on that for their data. So I think it's nice and correct towards the user to just show how I'm managing the things we're seeing every day. So it's the first time I'm trying to do a screen sharing here. So let's try. Now I can't hear you, so if you have to tell me something, just please write on the chat. So this is the main BSD Cafe virtual machine. Is a Hetzner virtual machine in Helsinki, Finland. So it's just managing some of the jails. It's managing I'll show you some of the main jails. So those are the jails that are running here. So that's the Nginx proxy. So it's the reverse proxy, which is managing all the services, all the connections. So all the services are getting here, passing towards the Nginx proxy. And there are all the jails, and the jails, except from the Nginx proxy, which is a normal traditional jail. So it receives the port 80 and 443 for HTTPS. The other jails are all configured on are VNet jails on a bridge. This network bridge is both local, so here in this virtual machine, which is the small BSD Cafe virtual machine, and here, which is a bigger virtual machine, and they're interconnected using the zero tier at the moment in bridge mode. So all the virtual machines are on different servers, but interconnected via VPN and bridged. So I can move from one to the other without having any problem of reconfiguring anything, because they're just bridged, so packages will start flowing through the VPN. So that's the main situation. So this small virtual machine is running the Nginx proxy, the MyIP service, the wiki.bsd.cafe, which is the wiki currently online. This is the old wiki, so it's been running for just a short time at the beginning of the BSD Cafe experience. This is something I was trying, but I don't think it will ever go online. As you can see, it's on an old release, previously released. This one is the secondary Mastodon instance jail. At the moment, the Mastodon service is divided into two jails. The main jail is on the other VM, and this one is just a backup VM, which is also processing some of the queues. So it's helping, but it's a failover in case the other VM is down. I'm using this mainly for when upgrading Mastodon, so I just stop this, upgrade this, just test, and if everything is running properly, I just restart this, stop the other, and all the connection will flow here. So through this this jail. There is the mail server. It's just an outgoing mail server based on OpenSMTPD, and the brew. So the brew is just running on the main on this VPS. So those are the services here. I have a series of, there's an old to STD when FreeBSD 14 has been released, and I moved the compression from LZ4 to ZSTD because now there is a better way of dealing it. So I just made a script to make it easier. And as you can see here, all the jails are managed by Bastille. So they have their data sets. They have separate data sets. So I can just snapshot, move, backup individually or all together. And as you can see, there are some snapshots. Yes. Okay. Those are the snapshots that ZFS Auto Backup is performing to copy the data outside. I'm not deleting all the snapshots after the transfer of the snapshot itself, as I keep some of them here to recover in case of problems, or I just start to perform local snapshots when needed. As you can see, there are two different kinds of snapshots. The KS4, which is my main backup server, and Ralpi, which is actually it's a curious story because it's called Ralpi because at the beginning it was a Raspberry Pi based on Alpine Linux. Actually, it's not a Raspberry Pi anymore, and it's not based on Alpine Linux, but the name has remained the same. So this is the first VM, and the load isn't absolutely high. As you can see, it's absolutely manageable. Generally speaking, the highest part of the load is from the Mastodon instance, which is, as you can see, Ruby, which is performing some queue processing, especially when there are some boosts or posts which go, let's not say viral, but which get spread more than usual. So this is the one of the VMs. This is the other VM. It's beefier. As you can see, it has much more RAM. This VM is sleeping as well, even if it's beefier, but it's not doing a hard job. And as you can see, the heaviest part of this virtual machine is the metrics server, as both the database and Python, which is running the metrics server, are using the CPU. No, of course, not now that I'm presenting it. It's normal. As you can see, here we have some more jails. There's the Blended jail. This is the Postgres jail for Blended. They're separated here. There's the Elasticsearch jail, which is for Mastodon. Fresh RSS, Mastodon. This is the Mastodon main instance. So this is the one you're connecting to when going to the BSD Cafe Mastodon instance. There's the Matrix server, the Miniflux server. This is the Postgres for the Mastodon instance. Redis for the Mastodon instance. This is the small snack jail, which is mostly idle. And these are two jails I've been using a couple of times. I just leave there because I could use them again in the future, but at the moment I'm not using them. This is the Fedi block to download and process some block lists, which I'm not a fan of, so I'm not using them. I just inserted some of the blocks I found for bad instances that acted badly towards us, but nothing more than that. And the PRMT01 is just a monitoring jail, but it's being used just for some tests, so it's not doing anything in particular at the moment. So this is the load of the BSD Cafe, summing up the two jails, but the two VPSs, but as you can see, it's not high load at all. So this is the situation. Going on, those two VPSs are backed up into two different servers. One is this one. Let's hope it's still now connection has dropped. So, okay, let's try to connect back. It's not connecting. Okay, so let's go the old way. Okay, so no. This is spinning this server, so it's not fast to perform operations, but I don't care. So it's mainly a backup server for many of my services, not only the BSD Cafe ones. So this is one of the servers that if behaving badly, I get awoken during the night by the notifications. That's quite important server. As you can see, it takes some time, but it will eventually finish. And backups are originating from here. So they're pull backups. So I'm not starting the backups from the VPSs, the BSD Cafe VPSs, but they're originating from here. As it's been a little slow, I just change the window to something else so you can see. Just a second. I'm changing window, so let's go to the here. Okay. Okay, this is the BSD Cafe status page. This the same one you can see when you connect to the status.bsd.cafe. It's just checking all the services, so there's nothing interesting here. What I can show you is just dashboard, but there are no notifications at all because I'm checking all those BSD Cafe services from my main uptime Kuma's server. So this one is just for showing the world what's happening here without having to go to my bigger server, which is checking more than 200 hosts or something like that. So this is the situation. Now, okay. This is the LibreNMS monitoring page I have, and I'm just monitoring the external VPS. So the Helsinki VPS that the first one I show you, because I'm not checking the other VPS because that VPS is actually not exposed directly on the internet. I forgot to say that all the jails which are bridged between the two VPS servers are just using the Helsinki one to go out, so I can map the IPv6 addresses, and I don't need to expose this. So this machine actually is just connecting to the other one and pushing all the connections through the other. And the one you are seeing here is the one from Helsinki. And as you can see, the average load is not high at all, and the traffic is not high at all. I don't know if you have already tried LibreNMS. It's a nice tool because it's just using SNMP and getting all the statistics and everything from the hosts, and you can have an history, you can see the data, you can have all the information you need. And I find it quite useful, especially for more important servers I have around. So I just wanted to show you this. Going to the backups, I wanted to show you how backups are performed. That is the main topic of this presentation. All the backups are performed starting from Jenkins. So as you can see here, there's Jenkins sleeping here. Jenkins is just checking that firing a backup every hour. So every time that a backup is started, it starts monitoring the results and how the things are going. So I will show you, reload. As you can see, this one is the last backup. This one is the Helsinki machine. As you can see, it's in Italian, but you should notice that the last backup of the Helsinki machine, thanks to ZFS send and receive, has been 43 seconds long. So backing up this is just a breeze. And in case should I ever need to do anything like this, I can just click compile now. Here, the situation, I can see the console. The Jenkins instance will just connect to the KS4 server I have shown before. and perform a snapshot of all the data sets, both of the server and the jails. This is the retention. So as you can see, keep the last 10 snapshots, one and delete one every hour and delete after 1 day, etc. And as you can see, the backup is performed, and at the end, it will just exit. Okay, finished, successful. In case of problems, I just receive an email saying that the backup has failed, and all the log gets emailed to my mail address, so I immediately know what's going wrong there and if I should need to intervene. This one is the other one, the Beefier VM, and this one backup is quite longer, as you can see, 53 seconds. So it's a longer backup. And same here, I can just fire up a backup. This will connect to the KS4 and fire up the backup, doing just an incremental, sending it to the external machine, and so on. Once a day, the RALPI, the one I've shown you, will perform the same operation, but just every 24 hours. So I have this kind of situation to back up the servers, the virtual machines. Of course, I have monitorings on the KS4 server as well for this space and things like those, but that's quite big, sufficiently big machine. So we have no problems there. I want to get back to the terminal as I want to. I just wanted to show you, but the point is actually is I can just recover any of those backups that I need, and in a single operation I can get back in time and get all the files that I need from the specific snapshots. So I can move these to the production machine or just recover the files I need and keep them there. As you have seen, I have also a RALPI backup, the one which I'm doing locally. So the RALPI is under my chair in the lower floor. So I have a daily backup of all the BSD Cafe under my floor. So we have 2 copies of the data, one in an external data center, the KS4 server, and one behind my chair. So I can just get a disk, plug it into a local server, and restart the services. So this is the situation we have here. And yes, I just wanted to show, I forgot this. This is okay. Same situation here. I'm just keeping less snapshots locally because the machine is a bigger, but not that big. It's just under 50 gigabytes, so not that important at all. But doing this way, I just avoid disks to be filled in a short time. There's another jail, which is on another external server, which is the media server for Mastodon. It's running on spinning drive server and protected by Cloudflare, mainly not for protection, but for replication. As when you publish something with multimedia, the servers get a lot of connections. So bigger files like media files are cached by Cloudflare and spread. I don't like too much providing services via Cloudflare, but sometimes it could be a nice choice. And in case, I can just stop it and get back to the local Nginx without any problem. So that's the situation. Okay, so that's more or less the situation. So all the backups are just performed by ZFS send and receive, and managed by Jenkins, which is taking care of checking that everything is right and backups are quite consistent. From time to time, I just perform an operation like the one I've done before. So just clone one of those backup data sets and try to see if everything is okay, and if the jail is able to restart from one of those clones. For the Postgres jails, of course, I'm doing a Postgres dump every hour inside the jail. So at the next snapshot and backup, there's not only the Postgres running database snapshot and backup, but also a dump. So in case everything should go wrong, and it could happen if you're just snapshotting a running machine with a database, I could recover from the last dump, which is not older than 1 hour earlier. So yeah, that's more or less the way we can back up the BSD Cafe.
Whoa, that was pretty cool, really. That was really pretty cool. And thank you very much for this and for the insights. And I think this is also really very interesting for people to see how you care about all the data and that you take backups very, very serious in that way. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you for
you
sharing all the efforts that you are putting into taking care of the data.